All right, fans of music, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people and doing some real issues as well as the world just continues to spiral out of control. Doing it in real time for real people, just like you and just like me. You know, I'd like to just focus on the happy talk. Steve Perry, he's out there in the news. I guess some new photographs surfaced and he's got his natural gray hair, looking quite dapper, by the way, instead of putting the shoe polish in there. So good for him. So Carmine Appice, or Carmine Appice, I think I used to call him Carmine Appice when I was in radio, which is incorrect. It's Carmine Appice, great drummer, spent a number of years with Ozzy Osbourne, started off with Vanilla Fudge, worked with Jeff Beck, and one of my favorite bands that he was in was the Blue Murder sort of super group from the late 80s. Really good stuff. You won't be hearing that group on the radio. Anyway, he's been involved in a lot of charitable works over the years. And he was asked a question about the lockdowns and the bandemic, as I'm starting to call it. He responded, "No, I don't want to get into that. I think it's all political. We won't get into that. It had to do with the election." He goes, "I think it was all planned, but anyway, we won't get into that." Asked if he enjoyed having a break from playing shows during the bandemic, the 74-year-old musician said, "No, I made do of it, but I didn't enjoy it. I would have rather been playing gigs." So the interviewer is almost saying, "Look, Carmine, must have been cool not to be able to play gigs, right? I mean, you're 74. It's time for you to kind of settle down and stop doing these gigs, right?" Anyway, he says, "I used to do 60 gigs a year. And last year I did 4. This year I might do 18 if they all happen. We still don't know. Like when we did me and my brother's gig, we had one gig in the middle that was blown out because of the thing. So hopefully they won't be blown out and everybody's doing the thing and nobody even knows." This is where he goes way off script here and says something that would probably get him banned. And of course, I'm going to do self-censorship for the sake of my channel. He says, "Nobody even knows if this thing is really a thing or something to kill everybody." Red alert, red alert, warning, danger, Will Robinson, right? He goes on, "I had to do this in order to travel," he revealed, "but it's crazy. It's all crazy. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life in all my years." Okay, so he's speaking truth. Carmine Appice, speaking truth. He says it's the craziest thing he's ever seen in his life. So that prompts the writer of this particular article to insert or do a copy and paste from Dr. Arturo Casadevall. He's the chair of molecular microbiology and immunology at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Bloomberg, huh? And he says, of course, this is extremely safe, noting that the risks, maybe I could do the Dr. Fauci impersonation. "The risks of side effects from these things are significantly lower than the health risks posed by the other thing. Okay, so the other thing is rather deadly and unpredictable. Don't go out for Christmas and make sure you wear your mask." So anyway, he says they've been studied in humans for more than a year. Oh my gosh, a year. Wow. They used to study these things for like 10 years, but now we're talking about 1 year. And they go, by the way, they go on and on. They do 4 paragraphs the interview with Carmine was, or Carmine, sorry, was three paragraphs, but they did a 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraph rebuttal. And then they finally got to the fact that Carmine was named the 28th greatest drummer of all time by Rolling Stone magazine. But that's not really part of the interview. They spent more time debunking his, and here's a guy who went and did the thing. But the one paragraph here where he said, it is the craziest thing I've seen in my life. He's 74 years old. He's been around the block a few times. He wants to play gigs. As he is stating here, they're blowing these gigs out, meaning they're canceling. And he's probably thinking to himself, hey, I did what you told me to do, and you're still canceling the gigs. But he's 74. He's 74. He was supposed to enjoy having a break from playing shows because he's over the hill. He's done all he needs to do as a musician. So maybe he should just settle down, grab a Hawaiian shirt and put on some Bermuda shorts and hang out at the beach, right? Because that's what he should be doing. He shouldn't still be active. And, you know, he's just some crazy old boomer thinking this is not a cool and normal thing. You know, and that's the other thing. There's so many people. What's wrong, Dave? This isn't weird. Why do you think this is weird? Why do you think this is the craziest thing you've ever seen, Carmine? What's going on with you, man? And then 4 paragraphs of rebuttal. Well, you know, it's safe and efficacious and just, it's wonderful and you got to do it. He already did do it. But and what's weird is, see, Eric Clapton had something, it's like, again, I'll use the restaurant analogy since I think it's fitting. It's like Eric Clapton went to a restaurant, right? And he had crappy service, or he had food poisoning. He got food poisoning, right? So, you know, you go over to Yelp and you say, hey, you know, that restaurant, they're serving that food, which everybody says you have to go and do this. It's like the only game in town, you know? And so Clapton did it. And then he reports back, you know, my fingers, they didn't work. I was in lots of pain. Wasn't sure if I was ever going to play guitar again. I would not recommend going to this restaurant. And then everybody comes out Clapton and says, hey, just do the thing and be quiet. Well, again, to correct the record, because it's kind of out there now that he didn't do the thing, that he opposes it. He did do it, and now he's opposing it because of the bad service at the restaurant. All right. With Carmine here, he did it. And no, he hasn't had any issues that we know of because he's not talking. He says, I don't want to talk about it really. However, he still thinks there's something weird about this. And most people who haven't been brainwashed, who are not in a cult right now, who can kind of decipher information. And by the way, there are other sources than this one cut and paste example, because I could do the same thing. I could put a video up and cut and paste from a number. I think I know of at least 12 that you're not supposed to talk about, but there are more than that. People who don't have this opinion. And by the way, they say in this cut and paste document that this is just so rare that anything would go wrong. It just doesn't ever happen. Really, really, that's it. I'm just going to say it on this video. That's a lie. That is a big, fat, enormous, dangerous lie. Dangerous. Because there are instances all over. I mean, I don't even want to, like Carmine says here, I don't want to even get into the numbers. Because he just wanted to avoid that conversation with this particular interviewer. He just didn't want to go there. But they forced him into going there. He goes there, and then they do 4 paragraphs of debunking his simple statement. Okay, it was designed to make him look like a Neanderthal, like an old boomer, washed up drummer who wants to play gigs. He's crazy. He's crazy. Didn't he just enjoy his time off? What's the matter with you, Carmine? I mean, what? You still got some drumming skills? I mean, if you believe the right way, they're not going to harass you. And the other thing is, like I said, he decided to do this in order to travel. But this wasn't what he wanted to do, per se. He did it because it would allow him to actually pursue his craft, which I think is noble. I don't know if it's the most intelligent thing for him to have done. And obviously, it sounds like he might have a few regrets. And he's more than welcome to talk about them. They could just stop the article there, but they don't, because they always have to correct the mistakes that these people are making according to them. Gotta fact check, gotta get the real truth out. Yes, we've got to do some censorship. We've got to do some damage control over Carmine. 28th best drummer of all time, Blue Murder. Fantastic record. Love that first Blue Murder album. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.